Okay, so here's the vertical. Go two ways to one direction. We're not necessarily set up to a vanishing point, just kind of keeping it like an isometric drawing, building that part up. And once it shows off, you have this angle, so all you need to do is to keep the angle parallel from here and go across, so now you have this cut off very easily. Okay. And from each of these pieces, this is where it's going to curve, so I can just curve the bottom of this. I'm going to heavy it up a little bit. Curve the top of this one and the back side of this one here. So the only thing that's not elevated is this front one. So just kind of curve this one across. And for the most purposes, kind of have it drawn out there pretty easily. You can still sketch this out. If you do it freehand, you can still use a straight edge too. I'm just going to quickly place it in there. This is going to have a little bit of a softer edge. It's not real crisp. And it builds it up along those lines so you can kind of see it. With the shading, again, just kind of blocking this out. Go in one direction like this, kind of going with the form. You can also just take the straight edge and as you're shading, just kind of let your ruler go right up along the edge there. Find this edge and kind of blend it down. Okay. Same with the front of this part. It's going to have a little tone to here. And the overall highlight is the white of the paper, so the eraser doesn't have that much intensity of the lightness to it, so I'm just kind of blending it in. Very simple. The only hard part is going to be the text. So here's the cast shadow, just kind of giving it a heavier line and then blending it away from it. Doing the same on the front of it here. And setting it up like that. Now when you take a look at this, it does have some text. It says Papermate Pink Pearl and Script, and then it has the latex free on that side, very small. So I made the drawing a little bit larger if I could. So I'm just going to give myself, whether I sketch it out freehand or just use a straight edge to help me out here. Just going to put the latex free right here with the base and a height line for it. The pink pearl, I'm just going to give myself a base line like that, a couple letters for the P, and then Papermate up at the top. So that sets it up. And then there's just this little number over here, right like that. So if you can see that, all the lines have to then go that direction. Okay? And then you have the setup. So when you start this, it's a good idea to kind of just lightly place it in there. So depending on your pencil, I'm just going to sharpen this one up here. And this is in the script, so seeing how well you can lay that out there. Set it up there. And this lettering gets pretty tight, so I'm just going to spell it out. And again, using this straight edge. I'm just going to keep it all one font. And same with Papermate, going to just make it all one lettering. Keep that like that. And this number is 300. Kind of place it in there. So the pink pearl I didn't do too heavy, so I'm just going to go back in once I sketched it out and just make it a little heavier in here. So once it has a little bit more of a delineated piece, then I can go back and just finish it up with some shading. So once that part's there, so this does have a little bit of a background that's darker in the photograph, but depending on where you're at on your picture, so I'm just going to lightly go behind that one and just go in with a little bit more of a harder shading to it. So you have your mechanical pencil you can use, kind of has a heavier lead. Again, don't be afraid to use the straight edge there to this. So it's trying to get you to go from this object rendering, which is more like a industrial designer, as well as the animation with the cartooning. And when we start doing more realistic portraits, you can kind of see how that fits in as well amongst the graphics. So again, I'm just pushing. The straight edge kind of helps me with the drawing. Bends that part up there. And I'm kind of looking at the shading in the photograph, and it helps me out there.
Yeah, froze.
Thank you.